good idea and a bad idea, and a why is this an idea in Heroes in Crisis issue 6. So this issue takes place, well, it's sort of designed to reveal who the bad guy is, or rather, who killed who in Sanctuary. And we open up with, I guess, a day moment in Sanctuary. And in this case, we have three characters. We have Gnark, Wally West, the Flash, and Harley Quinn. And it seems the question here is how many people have they saved? And this is sort of a weird question. I'm trying to wonder who actually is asking the question. This was sort of an issue that was presented by a lot of people who were reading this. Like, if Sanctuary is supposed to be a trauma place where people or superheroes who have problems can talk about them and undergo pretty much immersion therapy, who's overseeing everyone's treatment? Is it sort of like you just sort of go somewhere, ran a bit, and say like, okay, I'm good? And I guess this is sort of attempting to answer that. It doesn't quite answer it properly. So the question is, how many people have they saved? Gnark doesn't quite get the question. He doesn't quite know. He doesn't know. He's like many people, he guesses. Wally's like, it doesn't really quite matter. This is that whatever the number I give you, it should be higher. You should have saved more people. Harley decides to be Harley. What's it to you? Why does she have to save anyone? How many people have you saved? And then we cut to Gnark, who is actually, I think, the real MVP of this story, or at least this issue, as he talks about his life. How it feels to be Gnark, someone who was frozen in time. He was from the prehistoric era, and then he was frozen in the ice age and he was thawed out, and then he became a superhero. He talks about how it feels to be a man out of society, sort of a man out of time. Before, when he was around, there was no society, and because of that, things were simpler, but didn't have the same sense of security that he has now. That's mostly everything Gnark talks about. But he talks about people like Keats, to Wally in his therapy, where Gnark's therapy is pretty much just him existing in this, in his original time and just soaking it all in. Wally seems to sort of be going through the motions of exactly what his trauma is, which is pretty much the fact that, hey, I'm back, but my family isn't. And turns out Harley was not supposed to be at Sanctuary. She came to visit Ivy because she was bored. And Ivy points out, you shouldn't be here. If Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman find you, they're going to kick you out. He's like, but then I won't be bored. And the real emotional stuff is Wally. The fact, Wally's surrounded by all of his friends, and you're going on all these adventures, and it still doesn't matter because he still knows his family is missing. Harley, meanwhile, undergoes her own therapy, which is just her beating up different versions of the Joker. And it doesn't seem like that's working. And I think, to be fair, I think that's a really great idea. The idea that, just beating up the Joker does not solve Harley's issues, because Harley has a lot of issues. But then again, we come back to Gnark, who even talks about Rousseau, and talks about how, after he was frozen, society was forced on Gnark, and it was like a chain holding him down. Before society, Gnark was free of the chain. Without the chain, Gnark knows he's free. He's happy then. He has the balance of nature, he was a part of nature, and like nature, Gnark and life is good. But he also talks about the fact that, he never had security, he never had a chance to create, to be industrious. Society gives you a chance to create something, which, you don't get in nature to an extent. And then he realized that, he intellectualizes the problem to avoid it. Hobbes, Rousseau, they're all dead men arguing, and Gnark's not dead. Like, he misses the old days, sure, but it's not good or bad. He can still do most of everything. He misses the stars, he misses the animals, he misses the fighting, he can still do all of that. But, if he was back in his own time, he couldn't read Keats, which he seems to actually really enjoy. And that's sort of the beauty of Gnark. Gnark seems to be the one person at Sanctuary so far that has actually gotten a good point, because he's like, you know what, Sanctuary, I'm done. As he walks out, then Sanctuary says, it's an emergency, everyone stay where you are. Wally's interrupted his therapy, so he has to stay where he is. Harley and Ivy, they find out their therapy session has been interrupted because of the emergency, and Gnark has been attacked. Wally finds Roy Harper having been attacked, and then he's attacked by Booster Gold. Da-da-da! Which is weird, but maybe it makes some sense. And then Harley sees Booster, and Booster says, I didn't know you were here. She says she's not supposed to be here. And Ultimately, that's how the comic ends, with the comic ending posing the question, who is saved, as we see pictures of Commander Steel, Blue Jay, Solstice, Kid Devil, Hotspot, Nemesis, Arsenal, Gunfire, and the Tattooed Man. So this was interesting, but I think we're going to time travel our way out of making Booster Gold the bad guy. It seems that, going by what we found out last issue, with Booster Gold revealing that the Wally that was killed at Sanctuary was 10 days older than he's supposed to be, this implies that maybe he's been aged, or maybe this is Wally from a different time. Maybe it's a fake Wally, and Booster, traveled through time to kill it. So it's sort of a destiny trap. The fact that Harley was a red herring is sort of alright, I guess, but the problem is our heroes don't solve this. This is just sort of revealed to us, so now we're waiting for them to figure it out, where presumably Booster Gold's the one that killed people at Sanctuary. The question is why. So again, that's sort of the weird part. What's the good thing about this book? Gnark. The one-on-one therapy sessions make this book, I think, worth reading. The mystery doesn't. And maybe instead of a mystery, maybe it should have just been, no murder, just someone leaked all this stuff to the public. And I think that would have been just fun. I often talk about the fact maybe this should have just been an Elseworld story where we could have killed anyone. We could have killed Batman, Superman, Harley even. And then have those tapes have us see a different version of the character out of continuity, which might have given everyone more room to breathe, definitely to King more room to breathe. Because going by Gnark, he does have some good ideas, but the problem is this mystery just seems unnecessary. With that in mind, let's bring this video to a close here. If you're new to the Bug Think Tank, like, comment, share, subscribe. What are your thoughts on Heroes in Crisis and the event as a whole? And I will catch you all later. This is the Bug Think Tank signing off. May your fandom serve you well.